Hey, welcome back to the Crowdfunding Demystified YouTube channel. On this channel, we talk about crowdfunding, and in today's video, we are doing a tutorial when it comes to Kickstarter. I do have a complete start-to-finish tutorial of Kickstarter as well out there on YouTube, but today we're actually just focusing on one section, which is going to be the basics section. So follow along with me in this series as we go through each major section on Kickstarter. It's going to allow you to have a rock star Kickstarter campaign page and make sure that you launch with confidence. My name is Salvador Brigman. I've been in the crowdfunding industry since 2012 when I really got started publishing information on my blog, crowdcrux.com. I've also done a lot of work when it comes to Kickstarter, Indiegogo, and other equity crowdfunding portals as well. I have a couple of books out there, which you can check out if you want to learn more about crowdfunding. But specifically today, let's get into the Kickstarter basics section and really demystify this for you. All right, let's get started. So no matter where you are hailing in from, if you're in the United States or outside of the United States, thank you so much for taking a little bit of time out of your day to educate yourself and to focus on learning when it comes to crowdfunding. I really appreciate that. That's kind of one of my mantras when it comes to my work here in the industry. So first of all, when it comes to the basics section, you're going to log into your Kickstarter dashboard. As you can see here, you're going to scroll down to the section that says basics, and you're going to click that button. Now, the basics section is a bunch of brief information when it comes to your page, which is actually extremely valuable. And some of these decisions are going to really impact your success when you're live with your crowdfunding campaign. So first of all, we have, as you can see here, your title and also your subtitle. So both your title and your subtitle do have character limits when it comes to your account. And I would say the best practices are going to vary depending on if you're in the physical project, gadget, or gizmo category, or if you're more in a story-based category or in tabletops, right? Or even something like an art book that you're doing. The best practices are going to vary there. So first of all, when it comes to your title, this is going to be displayed when other users and backers are scrolling down their page on Kickstarter or on their iPhone, for example, the mobile version or the Kickstarter app. They're going to be able to see your title publicly. So you want to pick something that's going to provide context, maybe be a value proposition, or in some way capture individuals' attention. So we can see here, for example, for the flosser, this is a better way to floss. That really communicates not only the brand name, but also the value proposition, right? When it comes to that project. If you already have existing IP, you might already have then a recognition when it comes to the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, right? That really captures attention for those that are familiar. So think about a title and also a subtitle that's going to provide more context when it comes to that. So for example, as we scroll here on the Neon Odyssey, and I'm going to zoom in here a little bit, you can really see how that subtitle provides a lot of value up front. So a 1,400 page space opera trilogy for D&D, blast off to the stars, explore the galaxy, and chart your own cosmic destiny. Think a little bit about what your title and subtitle is going to be, because when backers click through and they go and check out your campaign, that is also going to be public. And when individuals search on Google or on AI for specific types of products or interesting new campaigns, that's also going to show up in their feed. So think about not only the keywords that you're using from a copywriting standpoint to capture attention, but also how you're looking to trend when it comes to the keywords you're looking for in search. The other thing I would say here as well is to think about feature packing potentially your campaign. So if we look at, for example, the technology category, I'll just touch on one more here. You can see here that as we go here and we look at a couple of the different campaigns, there's really a lot of feature packing. So for example, the Iron IQ next generation steamer, right? An all-in-one garment care. That's a very great value proposition. I also love steamers as well. You know, for me personally, I think it's a lot easier, but you have here all the features and the functions when it comes to the actual steamer. So this is much more popular in the product category. So to go back here, you're going to fill out that information, and then you're going to decide what your project category is going to be. So your project category is going to determine a couple of different things when it comes to your launch. And it's actually super critical to think about this strategically. So the first thing that's going to determine is other campaigns that you're competing against when it comes to your projects. You have to trend in the charts on your specific category to begin to be seen by backers who have supported similar campaigns. In addition, you're going to select your subcategory as well, and that goes after your primary category. So what do you mean? What do I mean by this, Sal? You know, you're going too fast here. Well, let me first of all go here when it comes to like the food category, right? So within the food category, you're going to see all of these different subcategories, right? You can also filter by other criteria like projects we love, trending, nearly funded, just launched, projects near you, upcoming projects. So within the specific category, you will see subcategories. And if we kind of zoom in here, You can also see that those projects are then recommended to backers who have backed similar products within that category. So think about which category am I launching in, and really how am I increasing exposure to those potential backers who maybe are going to like my projects, which categories I'm going to pick, and also when it comes to those subcategories as well. Next, we are getting into the project location. And the project location, I think, can be a little bit of a headache in some ways, but this is really an area that's going to allow you to have much greater exposure, not only within Kickstarter, but also when it comes to building your brand. And here's exactly why. There's two things when it comes to choosing a project location. The first is going to be, where you'd like to be displayed when it comes to your specific brand. So maybe you're located outside the United States, you want to raise in a US-based currency, and you also want to have a company, right, that's based in the United States when it comes to your appeal with backers. I find that to be a lot more common when it comes to the technology, gadget, category, when it comes to the design products, right? I find that to be a little bit more common when it comes to that specific category group. So how is that going to show? Well, if you go and check out a new project, like as we are here with the design category, you're going to see that specific location appearing on the project. Now, this is not, again, a huge element. I would say that Kickstarter, over the years has grown a lot in its international appeal. So American backers are more than happy to back campaigns that are based in other countries, for example, in Australia or in New Zealand or in Canada. They're very comfortable when it comes to that. But just one other variable you should be keep in mind, you can start a company or an LLC in the United States if you want to when it comes to your raise. And in that way, have that positioning. The second big one would be if you are launching a campaign and it makes sense to have a brand that's based in your home country. So for example, if you're in the fashion category, right, and you're doing a brand maybe that's going to be like an exquisite European design, or it could even be furniture or something like that, right, then I do think it makes a lot of sense to think about, okay, if I'm going to be in Europe, that's going to be a huge major leg up, right, when it comes to the location which I'm choosing there. So be just mindful of that. And what that's going to do is that when other people are checking out your project, they're going to be aware of that, but also you're going to see projects that are just launched near you, right? So if you have other individual backers, and this is really lots of backers in a specific location, if you have projects that are located near you, you're going to see that within your actual feed when it comes to the Kickstarter campaign dashboard. Want to take all the stress out of fulfilling your Kickstarter rewards? Fulfillment is the turnkey solution that puts product delivery on autopilot. The Top Campaigns uses trusted high-tech provider to store, package, and ship their products. Focus on growing your business. Leave shipping to the experts. Don't wait. Get a custom quote from Fulfillment today. Link in the description. The next is going to be the project image. And if you are enjoying this video, guys, give me a thumbs up, come subscribe for more content like this, and leave a positive comment down below as we are demystifying this section of the dashboard. So we have the project image. The project image, first of all, is going to have a couple of constraints when it comes to aspect ratio. I'd recommend using a simple tool, like a design tool, to really pull this together, whether you're using Figma on more of the advanced side or using something simple like Canva. This is going to give you a much more exact specifications, right, when it comes to your aspect ratio and also the size. So make sure you use a simple tool. You then also have the formats like JPG, PNG, GIF, WEBP, say that 4 times fast, no larger than 50 MBs as well, megabytes. So what I would say here is that there are some specifications when it comes to Kickstarter's rules. For example, they recommend avoiding banners, badges, text, right? They really don't like that kind of information on your actual project image. But what I will say is use your own 2 eyes, because when you are exploring the Kickstarter platform, what you will notice is that there are a lot of very popular campaigns that maybe do have text on their images or do have badges like this. This one campaign, as you can see here, we're zooming in, is funded by more than 1,500%. And they have lots of badges here, up to 37% off, right? When it comes to the actual project image. So you use your own 2 eyes, be mindful of that. And that way you can make sure that you really maximize your marketing exposure and your appeal when it comes to your project image. You then have your project video, and these kind of work a little bit in tandem here. So let's kind of click through so we can kind of see what this looks like on a page. You're going to have your main project image here, and you can kind of think of this as your thumbnail. I recommend having a product image or having a before and after, or having something that's going to really communicate the value behind what it is you're doing or your intellectual property. If you do have text, it should be short text. It should really communicate the value, the features, or the functions behind the product. Or if it's a storytelling component, really tease that curiosity, right, when it comes to that element. You then also have your video. So the video needs to be short. It needs to communicate a lot of information in a very specific amount of time. I'd say that amount of time is probably going to be 2.5 minutes to maybe 3.5 on the longer end. On the shorter end, it might be a minute and a half for technology gadgets. You can also go longer with more story, but it really has to have something that's going to maintain attention. I have other videos out there on how to pull together a rockstar Kickstarter campaign video that I do recommend going out there and checking out. You can also go and look at a couple of other videos as well and see how they're done, their pacing, their flow, the duration when it comes to those videos. And that's going to give you an idea when it comes to the Kickstarter campaign video. Another one would be the target launch date. So this is optional. You don't have to set when you'd like your launch date to be. The main thing is that this is going to just help you a little bit when it comes to guidance and planning. I don't think this is a major critical area that you need to fill out. The final one would be your campaign duration. So this is actually an important one because for two reasons. Number one, it's going to determine the urgency behind your campaign. So shorter campaigns with a duration that's maybe going to be 20 days or 25 days has a heck of a lot of urgency when it comes to your countdown timer, right, with that project. So that's going to give people urgency, new backers when they're coming to the project. If they do see, for example, that your project is ending soon, right? It's something that's going to be, only going to be available for a couple of more days or even a couple more hours. They are far more likely to take an impulse purchase, to make an impulse buy, right? When it comes to that project. So if something's in the home stretch, there's only 3 days left to go or 4 days left to go, and they see something that they like, that they want to own, they want to pre-order, they want to back it, they want to be a part of it, they're more likely to take action because of that urgency factor. The downside with a shorter campaign duration, let's just say we are doing something really short, something like even a 20-day campaign, that's going to be much more challenging to have your ducks in a row, to coordinate all of your marketing, and to make sure you're dotting your I's and you're crossing your T's in that sort of a short time duration. So be aware of that. And the other thing would be when you're going longer. So if you're going longer, and you're doing a campaign duration that's maybe in that 45-day stretch, or something that's even longer in the 60-day stretch, which is the maximum that you can do right now on Kickstarter. What that allows you to do is it gives you more time to market and promote your project. It gives you more time if you want to get media hits and attention when it comes to your campaign. It gives you more time as well to coordinate influencers, to maybe share your campaign on your behalf. So a lot of creators do like the fact that you can have more time in order to plan that. The downside is that you need to maintain a lot more momentum yourself. So this is really where things like stretch goals are going to come into play. And we talk about that in some of my other videos out there on YouTube. Not only can you have rewards, but you can also have stretch goals as well. And if you kind of like and are enjoying hearing about some of those tactics and tools and resources that we've been kind of mentioning here and some of the ways you can increase your raise, go and check out my free course on Kickstarter because it is loaded with that to the brim. This is like overflowing with tools, resources, and techniques and tactics you can use to get funding on Kickstarter. Go and check out the link crowdcrux.com/Kickstarter, enter your name and email, and join my free course on Kickstarter. It's one of the best choices that you can make going into an upcoming launch. And I'd say the only better one might be to grab a copy of my book, The Kickstarter Launch Formula, because that really is the paint by numbers formula, which you can follow, the blueprint, if you will, to drive funding to a project, to get a river of traffic on your campaign, and to soar in the charts when it comes to your Kickstarter campaign launch. I put a lot of energy and effort into making those useful for you. So go and check out those links at crowdcrux.com/Kickstarter. And also my book, Kickstarter Launch Formula, at crowdcrux.com/Kickstarter Formula. I will include those links down below in the description. And I will also mention one other quick resource as well as we are closing out today's YouTube video. So being mindful of the campaign duration is important for that urgency factor. The other thing is that there is another phase which you might not be aware of, which is going to be Kickstarter late pledges, right? So if we zoom in here, please note that this is going to be a secondary phase, if you will, after your main phase. So just because you have a 30-day campaign doesn't mean you can't continue your raise in Kickstarter late pledges. And there are also other techniques that I talk about with my individual one-on-one coaching students where you can continue your raise on another platform if you wanted to, or you can make use of other forms of crowdfunding. So this is larger in scope, and just because you set a fixed campaign duration, let's just say of 30 days, doesn't mean that that's going to cap your success. So I hope you've been enjoying this video, and if you have, first of all, give me a thumbs up and a like and come subscribe. The last thing I'm going to say is that if you really want to have more personalized guidance going into this launch, if you want to dot your I's, cross your T's, make sure you really maximize your success, your results, and really have a potent campaign, go down below and book an individual one-on-one coaching call with me. I got to be honest, this is a bit of an investment in order to do this, but it's a great investment going into any launch. I've saved students so much money over the years. I've also made them a heck of a lot of money when it comes to funding. So this is a really good option if you just want to have a little more personalized guidance and you want to make sure you have a big result when it comes to your campaign. Go down below at that link, crowdcrux.com/coaching, and you can learn more about my individual one-on-one coaching call options. Hope you enjoyed this video. My name is Salvador Brigman. Let's continue with this series. I'm really enjoying this, and hopefully you are as well.